يفقه قولي. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. So we came to this next one. وَمِنْ حَقِّ الْأَخِ عَلَى الْأَخِ أَلَّا يَدْعُوَهُ بِاسْمِهِ فَقَطْ. From the rights of brotherhood is that one does not call their brother by only his name. So this is, and I'll read the rest and I'll explain. وَمِنْ وَصِيَّةِ بَعْضِهِمْ. And some of their advice said that إِذَا نَادَيْتَ أَخَاكَ. When you call your brother, فَعَظِّمْهُ. So honor him. تَثْبُتْ مَوَدَّتُهُ. When you call your brother and you honor him with some nice title, this establishes and makes firm your love for them. وَمِنَ الْجَفَاءِ لِلْأَخِ نِدَاؤُهُ الْخَالِي عَنِ الْكُنْيَةِ وَاللَّقَبِ وَلَفْظِ السِّيَادَةِ. And the thing that hardens bonds of brotherhood, the thing that puts a strain, that lessens the bonds of brotherhood, is لِلْأَخِ نِدَاؤُهُ الْخَالِي, is calling him without his kunya and without any nice name and without any words of honor. وَكَذَلِكَ أَوْلَادُهُ وَأَحْفَادُهُ غَيْبَةً وَحُضُورًا. Similar thing applies when addressing their children and grandchildren, whether in their presence or not. So what this is saying over here is that you do have to look at the culture, right? You look at each culture is a little bit different. But in the Arab culture, it was a big deal to call somebody, and I explained it about Imam Abu Yusuf and Imam Abu Hanifa yesterday, but it was a big deal not to call somebody by their kunya, or I call somebody the son of so and so. This was considered a more honorable thing to do than call out the person's name. You see, so where the urf, where the culture applies, you should follow it. For example, Indian Pakistani culture, at least in the older culture, the spouses don't say each other's name, or at least the wife doesn't say the husband's name. They use some other word for them, like, uno, suno, whatever it is. They'll never use the name of the husband, right? And a lot of times husband doesn't use the wife's name either. So if that's what's in the culture, then it should be followed, right? Because that's something of honor, love, affection. Similarly, if there's other words that are used to show some type of honor and affection, they should be used. Even words of affection should be used when calling the child. So it's calling someone by a name, it's kind of like, like a rukha thing, right? When you have some name, when you have a nickname for the person, that shows you care about them, you love them. Like Faiz, you remember your nickname from Hifz, right? He had his name. Everybody, they have their names, right? If you have love and affection for someone, use something. Similarly, in the Quran, when Yaqub alayhi salam speaks to Yusuf alayhi salam, he doesn't call him Yusuf. He says, Ya bunayya, O my beloved son. A similar beta or something like that. But he says, Oh Ya bunayya, O my beloved son, is how Yaqub alayhi salam would address Yusuf alayhi salam. Yusuf alayhi salam would call Yaqub alayhi salam, Ya abati, O my beloved father. Like Abba Jan, right? That's the equivalent of it. So it's a thing that does increase some love. وَمِنْ حَقِّ الْأَخِ عَلَى الْأَخِ أَن يَعْتَرِفَ لَهُ بِالْفَضْلِ. And amongst the rights of brotherhood is to acknowledge the virtue of one's brother. وَأَن يُظْهِرَ لَهُ عَدَمَ مُكَافَأَتِهِ. He acknowledges his brother's favors, and along with that, he makes it clear that he can never fully repay them. لا سيما إن كان قد بدأه بهدية. Especially when the brother is the one who first gave the gift. لأنه لا يقدر على مكافأة بداءته. Because he'll never be able to equal the initiation. كما قال الشيخ محي الدين ابن عربي رحمه الله. That this Sheikh Ibn Arabi, he said this. That look, one of the rights of brotherhood is that when your brother does some good to you, you acknowledge it. You say that you've done a great favor to me, right? Like anytime somebody calls me with a problem, I call Ahmad Bhai and Ahmad Bhai takes care of it. That's his favor upon me, right? MashaAllah. I think a lot of people call him. He has that favor on a lot of us. And so we should acknowledge that. Similarly, we should, when we do something for our brother, we should say, I wish I could do more. I'm not able to fulfill your rights. And he gives a specific example. He says that, or a specific case where this should be emphasized, especially when your brother gives you a gift first. Because even if you give the gift back, you won't be able to equal that initiation. Why are you giving the gift now? You're giving the gift because they gave you something, right? So you won't be able to equal that. So you should keep that in mind. And we should give gifts for one another. Tahaddu, tahabbu, Rasulullah said, give gifts and love will increase. It doesn't have to be anything big. It could be something, small. So many times, people, they go to, I remember one time, this actually was a big thing. One guy, he went to Hajj. He came back, he gave me a janimas. In my closet, I have a lot of janimas. I have like a lot of unopened thobes, all of that. But he told me, he said, I took this janimas, I put it in Riyadul Jannah, and I prayed namaz on it, so you could pray on it. I said, Subhanallah, right? How am I going to ever equal that? So, when somebody goes and they get a gift, the thing itself doesn't matter, right? But what matters is they thought about you. They were somewhere else. They were at the most sacred place, Hajj, Umrah, Medina Sharif. They're there, and over there they're thinking about you, so they're getting a little something to signify to you, you matter to me, right? Somebody could just, go to the store and you just remember, oh, this, my friend, he likes this and this, just get it for him. It's not the size of the thing that matters. It is that somebody thought of you. And when you do that, nobody could equal that, when you initiate a gift to somebody. وفي الحديث, in the hadith, it says, من أودع معروفا. In a hadith, it says that, من أودع معروفا فلينشره ومن نشره فقد شكر. If one has been the beneficiary of a kind deed, they should openly acknowledge it. For in doing so, he has expressed his gratitude. So you see why sometimes on the mic, I say, this person did this for me, this person did this, it's in line with the hadith. ठीक है? It's from Shu'abul Imam. Imam Bayhaqi rahmatullahi alayhi narrates this hadith. That if somebody does a favor to you, you should mention that this person has done a favor on me, and this is a way of thanking the person. وَمَنْ كَتَمَهُ فَقَدْ كَفَرَ. And if a person hides the favor that one has done on them, فَقَدْ كَفَرَ, they've been ungrateful. وَلَا يَشْكُرُ اللَّهَ مَنْ لَا يَشْكُرُ النَّاسِ. And no one can thank Allah until they thank the people. وَمِنْ حَقِّ الْأَخِ عَلَى الْأَخِ أَن يَزُورَهُ كُلَّ قَلِيلٍ مِنَ الْأَيَّامِ. And from the rights of brotherhood is that they visit one another every few days. فَفِي الْحَدِيثِ, in the hadith, it comes that إِمْشِ مِيلًا عُدْ مَرِيضًا, walk a mile to visit the sick. إِمْشِ مِيلَيْن, walk 2 miles, أَصْلِحْ بَيْنَ اثْنَيْن, to rectify the relations between two people. Imshi salasata amyalin, walk 3 miles, zur akhan fillahi ta'ala, to visit your brother for the sake of Allah. This hadith is narrated by Ibn Abid Dunya. Now, if this is our brothers in Islam, our actual siblings, what right do they have to visit? Alhamdulillah, like my brother lives here. So he used to live with me, so there would never be an issue about visiting. Now he moved, he got married. So after Jummah now, except in Ramadan, but after Jummah, every Jummah, because he works from home, I just go to his house after Jummah. 10 minutes, sometimes we just talk. He'll just make some chai or something. We just sit there, talk for a little while, I'll leave. We fulfill that right. Him and his wife, randomly on the way to Isha or something, what he'll do before Isha, he'll drop his wife off. He'll come to Isha, he'll come back, he'll stay for a little while, he'll visit the kids. That's it, right? This is the rights that we have on one another. If you live in a neighborhood with a lot of Muslims, should here and there go and visit one another. And that's from the rights as well. وَفِيهِ أَيْضًا, and another hadith states, الزَّائِرُ أَخَاهُ فِي بَيْتِهِ الْآكِلُ مِنْ طَعَامِهِ أَرْفَعُ دَرَجَةً مِنَ الْمُطْعِمِ. The one who visits his brother and partakes in his meal is of greater status than the brother who serves the food. This is narrated by Imam Suyuti rahmatullahi alayhi in Jami al-Saghir. And the reason for that is you're taking the actual effort. Because you have food at home. You could eat. You don't have to take the takalluf of getting up and going to somebody's house, right? The taklif sometimes. If you're feeding them, right? Sometimes you have a lot of other things to do. You don't want to go to somebody else's place, but you're going, that's why you get rewarded. وَفِيهِ أَيْضًا, إِذَا زَارَ أَحَدُكُمْ أَخَاهُ, when one of you visits his brother, فَأَلْقَى لَهُ شَيْئًا يَقِيهِ مِنَ التُّرَابِ, and provides him something to sit on to shield him from the dirt, وَقَاهُ اللَّهُ عَذَابَ النَّارِ, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will punish him, Allah ta'ala will protect him from the hellfire. Now we don't have things like that anymore, but something that will make them comfortable is a means of reward. Another hadith, وَفِيهِ أَيْضًا زُرْ فِي اللَّهِ, visit one another for the sake of Allah. فَإِنَّهُ مَنْ زَارَ فِي اللَّهِ, for the one who visits for the sake of Allah, شَيَّعَهُ سَبْعُونَ أَلْفَ مَلَكٍ, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will have 70,000 angels escort him. But again, I caution, this is a visit without agenda. If the visit is with an agenda, even if it's a dini agenda, it's probably not going to lead to the same thing. Like if you're trying to get them to go somewhere with you, it's not the same, because the person will be annoyed by your coming. One thing is somebody comes to your house, they came to see you, they want to sit with you. The other thing is because it's a certain day of the week, they came to your house because they got your address from somebody and they want you to come with them. And it's not the same thing. That's virtuous, but it's not the same thing. Sometimes when we do something without any agenda, just go just to see a person. I mentioned that thing about Mara Tariq Jamil, Hafizahullah, that it's sometimes that's much more powerful. Then after that, وَمِن كَلَامٍ, okay, we could skip these. I think that may go above some people's heads. وَقَدْ كَانَ الْإِمَامُ الشَّافِعِيُّ رَحِمَهُ اللَّهِ يَزُورُ تِلْمِيذَهُ الْإِمَامُ أَحْمَدُ ibn Hanbal kathira. Imam Shafi was the teacher of Imam Ahmad, but he used to visit his student quite a bit. وَيَزُورُهُ الْآخَرُ كَذَلِكَ, and Imam Ahmad would visit him. So فَقِيلَ لِلشَّافِعِي فِي ذَلِكَ, it was said to Imam Shafi that how are you visiting your student? That's below your status. He should come to you. So Imam Shafi, he was an amazing poet. So he composed a poem on the spot. فَأَنْشَدَ رَضِيَ اللَّهُ تَعَالَى عَنْهُ قالوا يزورك أحمد فتزوره قلت الفضائل لا تفرق منزله. They say Ahmad visits you and then you visit him. I said excellence does not leave his residence. إن زارني فبفضله أو زرته فلفضله فالفضل في الحالين له. If I visit him, he's saying this about his student. If I visit him, it's because of his virtue. And if he visits me, it's his virtue. In both cases, the excellence is his. This is his humility, Imam Shafi's humility. Because in reality, a student can never surpass the teacher. Whatever the student does, they may do more work than the teacher. They may become more famous than the teacher. But at the end of the day, the teacher is the one that gave him the tools. The teacher is the one that, cried and went through the blood, sweat, and tears for that student. Nobody will be able to equal that. فَأَجَابَهُ الْإِمَامُ أَحْمَدُ رَضِيَ اللَّهُ تَعَالَى عَنْهُ. Imam Ahmad, he responded likewise. إِن زُرْتَنَا فَبِفَضْلٍ مِّنْكَ تَمْنَحُنَا. And when you visit us, it's an expression of your excellent virtue, gracing us. أَوْ نَحْنُ زُرْنَا فَلِلْفَضْلِ الَّذِي فِيكَ. And we visit you, it's because of your excellence. فَلَا عَدِمْنَا كِلَا الْحَالَيْنِ مِنْكَ وَلَا نَالَ الَّتِي يَتَمَنَّى مِنْكَ شَانِيكَ. That in both cases, we're not deprived of your noble presence, and harboring ill will against you will bring no benefit. So inshallah, we will, the paragraph ends here, so I'll just read this. That Sayyid Ali al-Khawas, he said, الزِّيَارَةُ لِلْإِخْوَانِ تَزِيدُ فِي الدِّينِ. Visiting your brothers increases your deen. وَتَرْكُهَا يَنْقُصُهُ. And leaving it decreases your deen. لِأَنَّهَا كَتَلْقِيحِ النَّخْلِ وَقَدْ قَالَ الْقَوْمِ إِذَا قَلَّ رَأْسُ مَالِكَ فَزُرْ إِخْوَانَكَ. Because visiting your brothers, it's like pollinating a tree. And some have said, when your wealth is suffering, visit your brothers. قُلْتُ زِيَارَةُ الْإِخْوَانِ لَا تَزِيدُ فِي الدِّينِ إِلَّا مَعَ لَزُومِ أَدَبِ الزِّيَارَةِ وَاللَّهُ أَعْلَمُ. But you won't get reward for visiting your brother until you follow the etiquettes that are there